All right, welcome to another episode of Room for a Podcast. I'm Brittany, and I have an amazing guest on today's episode, my dear friend Verlencia. We go way back, way back to middle school.
What were we doing in middle school?
Checking. Boy, you was checking. So yeah, we go all the way back to middle school. Been knowing her for a long time and seeing her bloom and grow as a woman, as a person, and go. We've seen each other go through some times, man. Sometimes,
You got
and we still
I
managed.
did.
You said what?
You got it together before I did.
Barely, man.
Yep.
It was rough. I couldn't hear you.
I said never look back.
Oh no, never. I couldn't. Nope. But yeah, so we seen each other through some times, and look at us now. We're doing pretty good for ourselves. That's something we
Period.
should be proud of ourselves about.
Period.
Clap that up. Period. All right, so we're gonna dig into it, and look at that. Both of us are entrepreneurs. Because before, honestly, in college, you was doing pretty good, and I was like barely making it through. I'm
You
like,
were
man, I
winning.
don't want to be here.
That's when you were
I was
part.
barely. I was partying.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
Cause
little bit.
you were at TSU.
Uh-huh. Tennessee State. I almost went to University of Memphis, but then the last minute, I decided to go to Nashville. The greatest decision I could have made, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was for real. For real, for real.
But even but in college you was doing good. Like you was A's and B's, maybe a C. I was barely a C student, not going to class, just wasting the
I was
taxpayers'
going
dollars, wasting money.
up there partying. I was partying too though. I was going to class though. I ain't gonna lie. I was going to class.
Yeah,
I was
I
going to
guess
real for real.
you had some kind of discipline and structure in your life. I never really had that.
Yeah, you're right. My grandma.
I didn't. Your grandma, exactly. Your grandma was on your butt.
My
She was on your
grandma,
butt.
for sure.
So we're gonna dive into this. So what are you doing now? I know you have a business, Fast Life Bundles. I always see you advertising, selling yourself online about Fast Life Bundles, and it's been going on for a while. You're doing pretty good. So let's dig into that.
Well, selling hair was something that I always wanted to do. I procrastinated. Like you just said, I went to school, criminal justice major. Wow, how that turned. But went to school. Even when I was in school, though, I wanted to sell hair. It was just something I always wanted to do. So I finally, jumped out with it 3 years ago. So it'll be 3 years in June. And it's no looking back. It has its days, days where it's just super good, days where it's super slow, but it's no looking back. And I love it. I love being an entrepreneur. It works best for me, it works for my schedule. So, I love it. It works good for the kids. I wouldn't have it
Hmm.
no other way. Sometimes I think about if I would have started then, but I always like to, always remain. The fact is that it just wasn't my turn. So it happened like it happened, and it happened for a reason. But I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
So did you always think growing up as a kid, did you think you was gonna be an entrepreneur, or did you have a dream of like I'm gonna be a police officer, I'm gonna be
Well, yeah,
a scientist?
for real though, as a kid, my dream was to be a forensic scientist. Like for real, for real. That's why I went to school for criminal justice. That was my dream as a kid growing up. But I've always been better hustling. So I've always, you know, I've worked jobs, but I've never really stayed on the job long enough, except for like one, and that was FedEx. Loved that job, by the way. But I've always been a hustler. That always worked in my favor. So now
Hmm.
that I can hustle legitly, definitely a win for sure.
Yeah. So
But
what
that
was it like for you growing up?
Huh?
With that what? Now, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
what was it like? Oh,
Criminal justice. I was just about to say that.
oh yeah, that's something. So what was it like for you growing up though? You want to be a you wanted to be a forensic scientist, had hopes and dreams and all that. So what was it like for you growing up? Because I know we didn't really meet until we were like in sixth or seventh grade. So I didn't know you before then. I just know you was always a funny kid.
Well, growing up, I can't say I had a real hard life. Now it did have its times. You know, I'm born in Houston, moved to Memphis. Whew, I can't really just remember how old I was. I believe I probably was like 9 when we first like really just moved down to Memphis and stayed. I want to say. It was rocky. You know, it's time. I remember the times. It wasn't just the worst, but it had its time.
Hmm.
But once we came to Memphis, life started, going well. So overall, I was raised as I should have been. I was loved
Yeah.
like I should have been. So yeah.
Okay. Is there any like I know for myself, I remember like certain events as a kid that molded who I am today, and like certain events that made me go on certain paths. Like I would for a long time I said I was never going to drink because I grew up in an alcoholic home, and down the road I started drinking, and I didn't know what was happening, but I know for sure growing up I was like I'm never going to drink, I'm never going to be like that. Also I knew that I when I was like 4, I told my grandmother I was like, I don't want to be a worker bee, and she's like, what do you mean you don't want to be a worker bee? I'm like, because all bees do, like their whole existence is like to go out, get pollen, come back, and that's it. Until they die, that's it. And I'm like, I don't want to just work my whole life for somebody else. Well, I didn't say for
Yeah.
somebody else. I didn't want to like spend my entire existence just working, working, working. Because like my family around me, if I knew they worked all the time, they couldn't come to events for school because they was at work. They couldn't come. We didn't do much because everybody was working, and I didn't. At 4 years old, I knew like I don't want to do that. So any like specific events or like times where that like molded you as a kid that helped decisions as an adult or caused certain decisions as an adult.
Well, I can say, the way I was raised is what got me back on track. I can't say that. Now, as far as me getting off of track, that was all me. It wasn't influenced in the home. It wasn't shown. It wasn't applauded, if I can say that.
Hmm.
I never really just got in too much trouble when I was younger at all. I was big on going to school, getting the grades, getting the conduct, having fun. So
Conduct. Oh no, like conduct now.
I had good conduct now. We're not gonna play like that. My grandma didn't play the conduct. She used to be mad about an S. I had E's.
Yeah,
I
you,
had a
you had
couple
good conduct.
E's. But I was the teacher's favorite. So
Yeah, you always had good grades in school,
who
and you talked and joked all the time, but you didn't. It wasn't to the point where like the teachers were sending you to ISS or to the office.
I got a
You
lot of
you
ass.
joked and talked, but I'm saying it wasn't extreme where your report card was messed up or your grandma was called because you acted out. It was just you joked all the time
Yeah,
and played all the
yeah.
time.
Played too much.
Yeah.
Played way
Do you
too.
think so I know, of course I know, but you played sports in high school. How did that like? Do you think that kept you on track as well by being a part of something that you enjoy doing?
No, I really don't think. Even if I didn't play sports, I really still don't think I would have been a trouble child because that's not how I was raised. And I've
Yeah,
always been a leader first and foremost. I've always been a leader, so I wasn't seeing it at home. So it wouldn't make me want to come to school and be like, "I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do what they do," because I wasn't raised like that. So
yeah, you pretty much made your own decisions,
yeah, for the most part,
whether we liked it or not.
definitely did. So no, I enjoyed playing sports. I guess it was something to do, and honestly, I
Mhm.
did for the most part. Volleyball, loved volleyball. Wish I could have gotten a scholarship playing volleyball and had a little small petite body. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like basketball, I really only played basketball because my grandma wanted me to. Honestly, I never wanted to play.
Yeah, the hype.
That's why I sucked. But she wanted me to play so bad, so I did.
She thought you was going to the
She wanted
WNBA.
me to go to the league so bad.
How tall are you again?
Huh?
For the people who don't know you, how tall are you?
6'3"?
So most of your a woman 6'3", they're like, oh, she going to the league, make you
Yeah,
play a sport you don't even really want to play.
that's what they thought. And I was in there playing around.
I honestly, hey viewers, so again, we've been knowing each other since we were like in sixth or seventh grade, and I wish I could like I had clips of us playing basketball to enter in the video, but it's all good. So growing up, he's on a straight and narrow, good kid, good grades. High school or middle school, same thing. High school, same thing. Straight and narrow, good grades, playing sports, and doing everything you're supposed to do. Then you get to college. What was the big change in around college that kind of shifted your path?
It was the freedom, unlimited
Yeah.
amount of definite. Honestly, 12th grade year, I turned 18 at the beginning of 12th grade year. Once I got my first car, it really was over with then. It was freedom. So yeah, it
Hmm.
was the freedom for me. And I had to
The
taste
free.
I kept tasting it. That's what it was for me. For sure.
Yeah, I remember. Same for me too. Like because growing up, I didn't have a strict household, but I didn't have as much freedom as my brother did. Like I couldn't do as much. Like he'll go do something, I want to go do the same thing, and he's like, "Oh no, you can't go. You're a girl." And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like he can get
For the
kidnapped too."
most part, he was sneaking out whenever he wanted to, for the most part, and you were scared because Bree
Yeah,
was gone.
that's true. I was a
Okay?
good kid. Yeah,
Bree
y'all
was
were.
gone. You
Mhm.
were respectful. That's all it was.
Because I wanted to get out of the environment. All I was thinking about was if I make the wrong step or do the wrong move, then like the plans of me getting away is done for.
You
Because you know how we was raised. You was around, so I don't want to be in that environment. Um, and I just had that idea like, all right, if I do this, then like if I go for these friends' house and something happened and I'm with them, then I can't go to college or I can't. I'm gonna be stuck in the situation I am at the time. Because I don't know if you remember, like we had a few friends who did extracurricular activities, and after a while, I kind of like veered away because I'm like, nah, I'm not about to get caught up in this. Seeing the people around me, like certain neighborhoods, we moved around a lot. So certain neighborhoods we lived in, I seen what addiction looked like, or just not getting out and like living life, just being stuck in the hood, not really living life, and having like a poverty mindset. And I didn't know that there was a poverty mindset until I got older and started to like understand myself, understand life. But I just knew that what I was surrounded by isn't what the life I wanted. So I was determined to not get in trouble.
you did
I was like, I can't, huh?
you did right. See, it happened faster for you because you did right. And I try to instill that into my kids. You do it right the first time, it won't take so long. But to be
It
able
ain't
to
about how
have a
long it takes.
second chance, it's a
It's not even about how long it takes. It's like as long as you get there. And even I think if I would have went to University of Memphis, I probably would have. I would have had a similar path to partying and all that, but I don't think I would have been able to like fully blossom and like have my wings.
yeah.
So you got freedom in 12th grade, then you go off to college. Well, what did that look like for you? Well, all
Uh,
the additional freedom. Now you're not under the roof of your grandmother. You own your own fully. Living in the dorms, being wild.
it was fun. I'll be honest. College was fun. Like, I don't
Hmm.
regret anything about college. College was fun. It was a ride. I had fun. Honestly, I did. I had fun for real. If I could do it again, I probably would. At that age, I don't want to do it again. At this age, because it's not gonna be fun. It's gonna hurt. But if I could
Yes.
do it again at that age, I would. I had fun though. Went to class, worked, of course. Went out all the time. Party animal. When I was working a job, I had fun.
Hmm.
Sure did.
And what? How old were you? Or what year did you have your first daughter?
2015. I think I was 24, 25 when I got pregnant with my first child. But
2015. I think you were like 23.
huh?
I think you were like 23.
I was 24.
2015.
I think I was 24 when I got pregnant.
Okay, you are older than me. Okay.
Yeah, I think I was 24. Yeah.
Okay. And how did that like affect how did that affect you, like your the way you viewed your dreams, like you was going to school to be a forensic scientist and then you got pregnant, like what did your family say, because again you came from a stricter household and you wasn't married, and like how did that affect everything?
Well, I did drop out once I found out I was pregnant. But of course, my dreams had already kind of like died down because I met their daddy. So I wasn't as
Mm-hmm.
enthusiastic about anything that I was doing in my life at that time. I almost didn't see anything but what I had going on with him. So it really wasn't the fact that I say I dropped out when I was pregnant because honestly, I dropped out when I was pregnant, but that's not why I dropped out of school. It had just really
Mm-hmm.
kind of like everything had just died down. Everything had died. I didn't want to do nothing that I had planned on doing at that time. So that, and I was in school for 4 years. I had 26 hours left, and I can get a degree. But yeah, it kind of had died down. I was on a high,
Mm-hmm.
so I like to call it, as I thought I was on a high, but really was foolish, young and foolish.
You was in love, huh?
That's what in lust,
In lust.
in lust.
A few years of lust, huh?
I was in like a spell or something.
Do you think it was like you want to spend all your time around him, or was it like were you depressed or just so engulfed in being around him? And was did he have the same ambition as you? Sometimes you can be in love or in lust, and then if y'all both have the same ambition, y'all kind of push each other up while still being codependent. Other times, if two people walking right on the sidewalk, one person walking fast, like getting it, and the other person walking slow, one or two things gonna happen. The person who's walking fast is going to slow all the way down to the pace of the slower person, or the slower person going to speed up to keep at the pace of the person who's walking fast. So, do you think your pace changed because he was like not as ambitious, or like what happened around that time?
He was definitely non-ambitious, and I did change my pace for sure. I changed a lot of things about me. Um, it was wild. I honestly like I can laugh about some of the stuff now, but it was wild. It was a learning experience though. That was my first time being in a relationship. Let's say
Hmm.
a real relationship, so I like to call it. So I was on a high. I had somebody that I thought loved me, and I loved him for sure, and I was on a high. You know, and it was all for the wrong reasons. I can say that I fell in love for the wrong reasons and with the wrong person for sure. But yeah,
Okay. Well, I mean, at first love, remember my first, like, I guess, love or whatever, and man,
which
it was.
who who?
I'm talking about when I was finally living out in Nashville and thought I had my first real relationship. And it carried over to
Okay,
San Diego and it crashed and burned so fast.
okay.
But you don't know what you
Sion
don't know. Honestly, again, when we're, huh?
was that Sion?
Yeah, that's how, yeah.
Okay,
And we young and dumb. You don't know what you don't know. And I don't know about you, but I wasn't raised, like, I was raised in a household, like, my mom showed love to us and affection. But I wasn't raised in a household where, like, two people who like love on each other and love each other. So I didn't know what it looked like. So you don't know what you don't know, and I'm not gonna blame it on me growing up without two people in the household that love each other. But
right.
you don't know what you don't know. Maybe if I had a little glimpse as younger, maybe I would know what to look for and like the red flags, but didn't have anything to compare it to. So you met the father of your kids, and you kind of like slowly diminished a little bit, losing ambition. Dropped out of college, got became pregnant, and then what? Like, what did you do? You dropped out. Like, what did you do?
I
What
like
happened?
to say, I like to explain it like this, and you'll see how harsh it sounds, but it's honest. I did everything. When I met him, I did everything but crack. Let me say that. I did all the lowest, like, it was as low as I could have possibly imagined my life being, except I didn't do crack. So that's pretty, that's pretty low. That's the only thing I didn't do was crack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pretty low. And it was a learning experience. I mean, in and out of jail, risking my freedom, and it was for nothing. Now that I'm older though, like I say, I'm older and I'm wiser now. Uh I look back at those things. I wouldn't want to do it again, but it was everything about that situation was a learning experience. Now when I meet a man, I know what to look for. I know what signs to pay attention to because I know what I
Mhm.
don't want. You know what I'm saying? So anything similar to that situation, out of there. Um,
Mhm.
so fast, if you don't have anything going on, out of there. You don't have your own place, your own car, out of there.
You don't want to be driving them around,
I can't drive you.
chauffeuring.
Can't spend a night. You can't drive my car. Well, you can spend a night. I take that back. You can't live there. Let's say that. You can't live
Yeah,
there.
you gotta have your own residence when I meet you.
Yeah, you have to have your,
Your own residence.
because I'm
Yeah.
coming the same way, and I wouldn't expect
Mhm.
anything from anybody that I cannot bring. So, and I've always
Yeah.
been like that. So, you gotta be coming the same way. It was tough. It scarred me, as a matter of fact. I still have nightmares about that.
I
And I got
guess.
pregnant twice, not once, but twice. So yeah. Oh, we
You
gotta
gonna
say
commit
three times.
suicide.
Keep forgetting about the one I had to send to heaven. But yeah, it was 3 times. May God still forgive me, but it was 3 times too. I forgot about that one. Yeah,
Oh man, it's funny.
yeah. That was about the only good thing out of that. The kids, of course, but how we got the kids was amazing. And I think there was another reason why I just kind of like head first, like, oh my God, it was good. You know what I'm saying? But now, ugh, yeah,
So let me backtrack. So you said you did everything but crack or whatever. And honestly, I remember around that time frame, you had always like had it together. And I'll be talking like, hey, you're on the road. The path you on, can be a little detrimental, And then I remember when you like went to jail or whatever, and it was like for that incident, that situation. And everyone's all on Facebook talking about, oh man, V locked up, just gossiping about it. This is back in 2015, so it wasn't as many old people on Facebook. It was like still like a lot of younger people. Um, how did that affect you? Because like with that situation, you I don't know about now, but at the time you couldn't have been a forensic scientist or officer or a attorney with something like that on your record. So how did that make you feel during that time? Because that was hard. I know it had to be hard for you, hard for your family.
yeah.
It,
It was. I feel like it was more rough on me because how hard it was on my family. And not only did I do it once, you know what I'm saying? I got out and I went back. And I went again and then I got out and I went back. So it was like almost like a roller coaster. People was rooting for me to leave, and then I leave, and then I go back. So it was like a letdown. It had got to the point where, I wouldn't even announce that I left him. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't even sure if I was going back or not. As far as experience, it was terrible. Of course, it was wild that had happened to me. You see it happening. But I'm like, wow, you're not even raised like that. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I only regret what happened because I was a part of it. But what happened, he deserved. Honestly, he did.
yeah.
He deserved it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do it for no reason. He deserved it. So
I mean, a lot of people deal with domestic violence and they don't even leave. They don't even do anything about it. They don't fight back. They don't leave it. They just take it.
yeah,
And you was raised in a Christian household. You was at church every Sunday, So but you But like, thank God you had and have a loving and supporting family to like keep room for you and be there for support when you finally decided to like, all right, I'm done dealing with this situation. That they were there to hold you up and give you support until you were able to support yourself. Because some people don't have that.
And I'm also grateful that I was raised in a family that, taught me right from wrong, because some people do wrong because they don't know what's right. And
Hmm.
sad to say, because even as an adult, you have people that make wrong decisions, but they don't know what's right. If all you have seen is the wrong way to do something, you feel like it's right because that's what you've
Yeah.
seen. You haven't seen any other way. So that was another thing that brought me back to this side. I knew I was doing wrong, but I was always so hard headed and so how I want to do things, just caught up in me. It's all about how I want it to do, how I want to do something. It's all about what V says. If it's not what V says, it's nothing. So when I finally decided to do the right thing, that's what I did. And it never stopped. You know what I'm saying? Um, it was tough though. Yeah, it was tough. Being on the run, being on the news. it it was different. Like I said, I can laugh now, but I wasn't laughing then.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it must have been hard. And say again?
I said it wasn't funny then.
Yeah, no, not at all.
No, it wasn't
um, and I was thinking that like, so during that time, you said it was hard, because the shame was it shame you felt from your for your family
most.
or guilt because like how did I get in this situation?
It was mostly shame for me, and the person I felt shame the most was my grandma. Like for a long
Mm-hmm.
time, I didn't even want to go to my grandma's house. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting like I say probably about 3 years ago. I just kind of got comfortable with like being in the room with her and being able to look her in her eyes again. Because
Mm-hmm.
at first, like, it was always, I'm looking at her in her eyes and I'm lying. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling her what she wants to hear, you know? And now we can be in the same room. She asks me something. I tell her how I feel. Sometimes she say, but you should never ask. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was shame for sure. It was shame.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And again, like you said, you don't know what you don't know. Sometimes we gotta hit our head a few times to finally be like, all right, that hurt. Like the first time it hurt, but I'm gonna try it again. The second time it hurt. The third time, like, all right, I'm done hitting my head on the concrete because it might not be a fourth time.
Right.
You know. So again, you had loving, supporting family, and like you said, you was raised in a household that you knew what good and bad looked like. You knew you could do better. And even honestly, even people who don't know or wasn't raised around doing better or better decisions, at what age do you question your motives? What age do you question your actions? Like I can I can just say, so we moved a lot as a kid when growing up. And for a while, whenever I lived somewhere, even as an adult, I didn't really I would furnish my place, but it wouldn't be decorated. And when I joined the military, I moved a lot because I'm in the military.
Hmm.
And I would always have like some boxes but I ain't never really fully unpacked. And then back in I think maybe 2 years ago, it was in Cape Cod at one of my friends' Airbnbs, and it was nice. I'm like, man, this is a nice house. It's decorated. It's nice. And at that moment, I realized like I don't have any. I lack stability. That's why I'm never really fully unpacking my stuff or like decorate. And I could have went on after acknowledging it. I could have just continued my life doing the same thing, but it bothered me. I'm like, just because I wasn't raised around it, don't mean that I can't do that now. I can do better now because I acknowledged it. So when people be like, "Oh, I wasn't raised that way, so I didn't know better." When you become at least 25, you know what's right and what's wrong. You know how to do better. I would say even 27, 28, latest. So when people be like, "Oh, I wasn't," I didn't know what it looked like, or I don't know what good and bad is. At some point, you got to be questioning your 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 ideas, your belief systems,
Yeah.
recondition your mind, your thoughts, because
Some people
it's something.
care.
It's
Some people
you said what?
Some people don't care. Some people want the bare minimum out of life. Some people just want to be able to wake up in the morning and do whatever it is they're going to do for the day. Some people don't care. And those people I just don't associate with. Because you have to care. You have to want things. You know what I'm saying? Because life is so great. Why wouldn't you? To have zero ambition for yourself is almost disgusting. But it's really people out here that have no ambition. They don't want anything but bare minimum. I just want to do enough to wake up in the morning, be able to pay my bills, that my rent $400. You know what I'm saying? As long as you have some,
400, where that's at?
I'm just I'm just saying. As long as
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for to stay is a blessing, but to have to want more, you know what I'm saying? I'm paying 400 right now, but tomorrow, I want to wake up paying 1,000 or something like that. Because the more you pay, the better the situation is. But
That's true.
some people don't, and I've accepted that,
Hmm.
and I don't try to fix people anymore because I used to have that bad trying to prove a point. You can do this, you can do it this way, and it works this
Hmm.
way. They know they're around you, they see how it works for you. I'm not special. God didn't stamp
Hmm.
me and say, "This is my favorite. I'm gonna give her everything." I worked for it. And I realized
Yeah.
that what I was doing at first was not working for me. So let's switch it up. Let me do it this way,
Hmm.
And all right. So once I caught the grips of this, it's always something to learn. And I tell my kids that all the time. You're always learning something. And the more you learn, the more you know. And the better you are as a person.
That's true. It's
But
instead of becoming stagnant.
some people are just bare minimum, child. I don't see
Honestly,
how.
I don't either. I don't get it. And honestly, I thank God that I don't. I thank God that I have some kind of ambition or an ambitious bone in my body, so I can continue to develop, to continue to grow and learn. 'Cause like you said, there's always something to learn. There's always something to do.
Yeah,
Once we stop progressing and learning, we start to die. So whenever a person, I know for myself, I start getting uncomfortable. I have to evaluate my life, and I'm aware, like, all right, I should be doing something differently. I need to be learning something or doing something more. Um, and even for you, there was that awareness. So you acknowledge, like, okay, this ain't working. Something has to give. And I mean, look at you now, though,
I know.
full time entrepreneur. And a lot of people go through things like that. Not to bash them, but people won't even get a job for real because, oh, I have some of my record, I'm gonna get fired, whatever. And it's hard. I feel bad for them, but instead of you allowing people to feel bad for you, you became an entrepreneur. Your own schedule, your own, like, you know what you want to do. You make your own money, and you don't have to worry about a company saying, "Oh, we just found this on your record, so we gotta let you go."
Right. And that's happened to me several times. I've had great jobs and they hired
Hmm.
me in. I'm working. One time I had a job, I was working there like 2 weeks. They hired me in. They pulled me off the computer. We need to talk to you. We saw your background check came in, and this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? They let me go the same day. That's happened to me like three times before. And honestly, that was one of the reasons why I was like, I have to do something different. You know what I'm saying? The jobs that's hiring me, they're paying $10, $11 an hour, which is cool because I'm one of those type of people, whatever I can get is a blessing. It's better than
Hmm.
nothing. That's how I look at things. Do I want better? Yes. Am I going to strive for it? Yes. But right now, if this is what I have to do, that's what I have to do to take care of my kids and pay my bills. But it had really got to the point where, you know, my mind was outgrowing my pockets. So I was like, man, you got to do something different. You can't be,
Your dreams is
yeah,
dead.
you got to do something different, because I've always lived a nice lifestyle. And, I met him, and that's when things kind of like towered down, you know what I'm saying? But as I'm building myself up, everything around me starts to build too. So it was the mind for me. Once that mind moved, I knew then it was you good. You were sad at first, you ready to roll. Like the pity party is over. You know what I'm saying? And plus, my dad, when my dad died, that really did it. Most
So when
definitely.
did your dad pass away?
My dad died January 30th of 2021. And that really did it for me. That was my crutch.
Hmm.
Anything, whatever I want, it was always yes, 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 yes. And that was my crutch. And it hurt so bad, but I always look at it like, because I like to look at things in a positive aspect, because when you're looking at something that hurts you in a positive way, it makes you feel better. So, he died, and I like to look at it, would I be where I am now had he still been alive? You know what I'm saying? He probably died so that I could live, because that was my crutch. I quit a job today just because I know he'll pay my rent next month. You know what I'm saying? That was my crutch. And it really, my mind was already moving before I even found out he was sick. I had started to
Mhm.
change, and I'm like, man, you don't want to say it feel weird, but it was awkward, like I'm on some,
It was unfamiliar.
yeah, I'm like, I'm on some more stuff, like, and then like when I found out he was sick, I was just like, wow, okay, that's what it really is. Like God gave me time before it even happened, so I'm appreciative of that as well. So yeah, life is.
It's like things happen in your life. Go ahead.
I just said life is way out.
It is. It's like things happen in your life and it prepares you for something bigger. It's like more is being revealed. The more you do, the more is being revealed. And then you look back on your life. It's like, okay, God was preparing me all this time. I didn't even have an idea, had no clue. So when situations come up, like, oh, I know what to do.
Yeah.
Like,
And then
I'm
you have
familiar with the situation.
open minded to accepting the fact that God is working for you. You know what I'm saying? So you can go ahead and catch it because He's never not working, but you got to go ahead and catch it while He's there. He's not gonna wait around. Gonna move on to the next person. You don't want him, but he'll come back. But you got to catch it while
Hmm.
he's there, and you got to go ahead and just keep going. Just
Yeah, I like when you said your mind was bigger than your pockets. Like you were seeing things, and you was like, I guess you had these dreams that you wanted to do, but your pockets wasn't gonna let you do it.
couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Like you was ready. You was ready at the time,
Yeah,
and you was slowly being prepared. Like you said, you started moving differently, and then your dad passed away. But luckily, you had already had that mindset of like, I need to do something differently. I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to get out of this situation. I'm ready to outgrow the situation that I'm currently in.
for sure.
When your dad passed away, you was already prepared to take that next step of doing things differently on your own, without the crutch.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely got tired of the job denials because you don't want to hire me, but you'll hire somebody into your company that's stealing from you. You know what I'm saying? But you want to judge me based off this one charge that I have that's a felony.
mhm.
But you got people that's really in here that shouldn't be here, period. So I just got tired. I'm
you you was better than the company. You better than that.
right,
Like
right. And I tell them,
I'm bigger than
I
this.
don't need this.
My God is bigger.
My man got two jobs. I'm sure this man got two jobs. For real. And it never really worked
Oh,
out for me. Working for somebody else. I wanted to run the company. Put my name outside. But
so what does it look like for you now? Like you have your own business, and you basically when there's a service that needs to be done or met, you feel that void, you feel that gap. You're like, oh, this needs to be done. This is a service that people are paying for. Let me go get familiar with this service and offer it to folks. Like, how do you even have that? Like, where did that mindset and drive come from? Because you just like you own it. You just like, oh, people are right now. Consumers are buying this. Consumers are paying for this. Let me go get familiar with this certain service, or people buying hair all the time because that everybody want to look nice. Hair want to look nice.
yeah.
You found a plug, or you got familiar with um buying and selling hair because people are buying it. No matter how they pockets can be just about empty, but people gonna get their hair done.
Yeah, they're gonna get their hair done. They're gonna get
So like, where did that drive come from? You just like
I just
filling the gap.
make money. You know what I'm saying? And in order to be able to, have like multi-million dollar companies and stuff like that. People are franchising all the time. People these major companies, they all started small. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And it was the fact that they went in not with I'm gonna own this, but I'm gonna own this company too, and I'm gonna own. We never see the faces. We just know the name. We don't see the faces behind these companies. And I like to make money. And I'm in a point in my life right now. I love selling hair, and I always put that first. But in order for me to grow like I want to grow, I have to be able to put my hands on other things. I got to get this and I got to do this and people like this and they're going to buy this. So I'm in the process right now of finding something else that I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't just do what I do for the money. I have to love what I do or I won't stay
Yeah,
focused. You know what I'm saying? The money can be good, but if I don't love it, I'm not enthusiastic about it.
Hmm.
I love selling hair. You know what I'm saying? I love doing the other things that I do to, make me.
Because you love making your clients happy. When
I
people
love,
get their hair done, they feel
I,
good.
for sure, for sure. So anything that I can put my hands on is legit. I will, because I mean I was
Yeah, yeah.
doing things illegally, and I was doing it great. You know what I'm saying? So now that I'm doing things the right way, still doing it great, it feels better. But I am in the process right now of looking to invest in something else, and I just really don't know what I want to do.
Hmm.
But I'm looking to invest in something else though. Definitely
And
want to be one of those multi-million dollar franchise companies for sure. Definitely the goal is to franchise fast like bundles, and I'm gonna keep going. Just year three, that's the beginning. Some people don't
hmm
see that big break until 10 years down the road. So as long as I wake up in the morning, I got time.
yeah, see, that's the mindset to have. That's the mindset to have because when people, if they can't see out of their current situation, then they don't move. Like your current season doesn't define your entire life. So that's good or bad. Like if you're in a good, if you're having a good season, don't get comfortable because you never know when it's gonna end.
See?
If you're having a bad season, just know it's gonna end soon. So either way, like
Yeah, please
keep thinking ahead.
don't get comfortable. But one thing that keeps you motivated, even when it's a bad season for you, one thing that keeps me motivated, I can say for myself, is the fact that I know what I have done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know what God has blessed me to be able to do. I know the money that I've brought in. So when it's slow, it's just slow, and it just is what it is. You're gonna keep going, or you're gonna quit. Because if you quit, it's really gonna be slow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You want to get in, and then you want to get out, and now you want to come back around. You got to start all over again. So I rather
Hmm.
going, whether it's slow, fast. I wake up every morning and I promote my business. Period.
Yeah. So where can our viewers and listeners find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Verlencia D Bart Laven. That's Verlencia. Last name Debardlabon. My business page is Fast Life Bundles. That's FASTLYFE Bundles. And you can also, if you want to buy some hair and you're out of town, if you're in Memphis, I always have hair on hand. I ship hair anywhere in the United States of America. You can go online at www.fastlifebundles.net, but it's best for you to reach out to me through Facebook because prices aren't always the same online that they are on hand. It may catch you a deal. So it's good to just reach out to me via Facebook. My business phone number is 901-859-1564. Whichever way you have to get in touch with me, it's absolutely fine with me.
And is there any last message you want to close us out with to the viewers, the listeners? You know, somebody might be inspired or they ready to move but can't really move. Anything you want to close us out with today?
Well, I will say you if you feel like you can't move, is that's a negative mindset. Change it because you can. Anybody can. Just it happened for you, happened for me, it happened for millions of others before us. It happens for anybody just about what you want to do. So if you feel like you can't, start saying that you can. If it has not come yet, wait on it because it's gonna come. Uh First and foremost, I like to see God, but whoever you pray to, pray and don't stop praying. You pray when it's good, you pray when it's bad, you pray when it's all right, you pray, God, I want some more of it because He'll give it to you. You're not being greedy. Do the right thing, treat everybody right. If you are in a better situation than somebody else, help them out. You know, uh, and just life just goes on. Just be happy. Even when you're sad, pull you some faith out. And just be happy. Overall, positive mindset, even on a bad day. Positive mindset because yesterday was better than today. Tomorrow will be great. So that's about all. And just keep going. If you're doing something that you love and people haven't caught on yet, they see it. That's when if you're putting it out there for them to see, they see it. And one day they'll need it. So just keep going. For sure.
Love it. You saw. I love it. You said. I think there's a saying. But I think his name is Confucius or something like that. I'm gonna butcher it, but if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So like basically it's all about what you think. If you think you can't do it, then you can't do it. You won't do it because you think you can.
Yeah,
If you
because
think
you
you
think
can do it,
because why you can't do it?
yeah.
Now,
If you think you
stuff
can,
that's
that it's
impossible
possible.
for us to do. I can't get out this car right now and go build a house, but I can learn if I wanted to. You know,
Exactly.
but that's not what I want to do, so I won't even learn it. I wouldn't try. So
It's possible.
it's possible. It's possible.
All right.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right, thanks y'all for tuning in to another amazing episode of Room for a Podcast. Again, remember that you have to make room for the things you want in life. That's why it's room for it. Make room for the things you want in life. Empty out the stuff that's no longer serving you. Also, you can find me on Facebook, Brittany Taylor, Instagram, and TikTok. My personal page is Mr. Cheeto Head, MrCheetohead. And let's see, I just lost the train of thought. My podcast Instagram is Room for a Podcast, so ROOMFORIT podcast, so PODCAST. And if you want to go ahead and get your personalized coaching program by me, I'd be your own coach, your accountability partner, your cheerleader. Reach out to me to get your own coaching program going. And again, thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned for another amazing episode of Room for a Podcast. And we are out.